entrepreneurs in the audience? It's the same people who run IRC. Yeah. Don't start a digital music company. It advise against it. I don't know. I feel like there's, especially seeing the success with Spotify and having some progress in terms of more innovative models that are better for consumers. It feels like there's definitely been progress, but given where we started, I think there were certainly developments that were also very exciting that I think kind of surprised me personally. Seeing YouTube's success so soon after some of the sort of the tail end of the court case was something that was pretty surprising, given that it was all hosted content. But I think
the point he's making about YouTube is actually really interesting because in some sense they were much more liable because if you're hosting the content, you're liable potentially for direct infringement. We had to be sued for the much more esoteric contributory and vicarious copyright infringement. We weren't actually hosting any of the content. So it was a bit of a stretch to find a law under which to sue Napster. And it wasn't until the Supreme Court decision that it was even legally clear that something like Napster was not legal, though they left a lot of it open to interpretation still. The funny thing about YouTube is all of the user-generated content was accounting for such a small fraction in the beginning. It's changed now, but in the very beginning, such a small fraction of the usage. So while there was way more user-generated content on the site, and that was the stuff they featured on the homepage, and it was quite visible, in reality, it was a smokescreen. They had had all this user-generated content, tons of it, and they were able to make a case in the various lawsuits against YouTube that was the bulk of it. When in actuality, the traffic was largely being generated by SNL clips and other copyrighted content. So, Fanning and I did a lot of talking about that. We're like, why is it that these guys are getting away with it?
The tougher part is that the bar for creating lightweight video content is much lower, and I think when you're trying to compete with major label tracks and well-produced content, it's a bit more difficult. But that's the area where thinking about like how it hasn't come as far as it should have on the retail side, as far as online retail and access to content. The area where it really has just blown open is, and I think we've talked about this many times, but the fact that people are self-publishing. So back when we were working on the Napster client, making it function as a server and a client was kind of an unusual thing, and these personal computers sharing files. And I think the self-publishing that then happened on YouTube and now happens in many different forms. And then also the cost of producing high-quality content with with things like Pro Tools and just how inexpensive it is to produce quality material. It's really changed in the right direction there, and it's really remarkable to see what's happened as far as new opportunities for promotion and kind of the loss of that tight control over distribution. So that's actually been really great.
To your point, there's still a huge difference between having the technical chops to play an instrument or sing or write a song that anybody would care to listen to. Even if the recording stuff is better and cheaper and easier, and you've got access to these tools, you still have to have some technical ability to make music. Whereas, you look at viral videos and falling down on a slippery floor, like falling off a stage falling off a platform into like a barrel of whatever, like that. Anybody can do that. Really, it doesn't take any special skills. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The more the stupider you are, the more likely you are to create a successful viral video. So there's this this huge disparity there, and so yeah, I think getting access to production tools, cheapening all of that, making it easier for anyone to create music. Still, I don't think that will ever result in a large number of hit songs that are a part of our common cultural heritage that are just generated, totally in a vacuum. You're starting to see it a little bit more. I was hanging out with one of the producers of Foster the People, and he was telling me that the song that was a really big hit, Pumped Up Kicks, he got his hands on the song as the producer, brought it by the record label, cleaned it up, whatever. He said, I don't want to do anything to it. I'm not going to touch it. It's perfect. I don't want to mess with it. It's perfect. And it was, it was basically Mark Foster, I think is his name, in his bedroom, like in his home studio, making a record. Right. So it does happen, but it's infrequent.